And joining me now from Jerusalem is Israel's National Police Superintendent, Micky Rosenfeld, who serves as their chief spokesperson to the foreign press. Micky, it's great to have you with us. I know it's been a very busy day for you and your team, so I appreciate your time. I want to start with what we were just hearing there from my colleague, Richard Engel, and that is the latest cycle that we find ourselves in. Let's go back to April 13th. It is the first day of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. A lot of the people, Palestinians, international community, have blamed the police for the heavy-handedness it used in Jerusalem, cutting off speakers at Al-Aqsa Mosque, restricting access and adding metal detectors. Why would you do that? Why would the Israeli police that claims it is protecting holy sites in Jerusalem restrict access for hundreds of thousands of Palestinians to their places of worship?
Well, first of all, let's get the information accurate and correct. There were no metal detectors. I don't know what you're referring to. You're going back back to almost a year ago. Second of all, you mentioned that the old city is occupied. I don't know what you're referring to. The old city is there for people to come and pray. The status quo is being kept. Muslims are allowed to pray 5 times a day on the Temple Mount. Jewish people praying 3 times a day on the Western Wall. And what we saw, unfortunately, over the last 2 weeks of the Ramadan period is that instead of thousands of Muslims praying in peaceful and quiet areas, they took to the streets and started attacking police officers who were there like they are every year in order to prevent any incidents from taking place. And full-scale riot took place. Our law enforcement officers, in order to make sure that we keep the peace and prevent people from being injured and killed in the streets, they responded by dealing with those specific riots where we had more than 50,000 people involved in riots. That is something which is unacceptable. And any police force across the world would do exactly the same thing. Contain the riots, take control of the situation, and prevent as many injuries as possible, both to our officers as well as to those that are protesting and breaking the law and trying to attack our officers.
Well, as you very well know, they're not my words. Those are the words of the international community and the United Nations that don't recognize your sovereignty over Eastern Jerusalem and the Old City. But put that aside for a moment. I just want to go back. Are you saying that you did not cut off the speakers and Al-Aqsa Mosque where the prayers are played out every day? Did you cut the speakers?
In connection with that incident, there are a number of steps that were taken in order to prevent incitement from happening on the Temple Mount. As in previous years, and we've known and we've seen, as soon as there is incitement, there are full-scale riots that take place. Unfortunately, the leaders of the Muslim community, instead of taking control of the situation and preventing those riots from taking place, unfortunately, there was an increase and a surge of incitement, and therefore every step was necessary. Since the Jerusalem Day, Israel took 2 significant steps to prevent the violence from outbreaking. Number one, we canceled the march from taking place through the Damascus Gate, which you're very familiar with. You used to be here in Jerusalem and you've spoken from that area. But we prevented thousands of people from coming through that area in order to prevent Muslims from attacking Jews. And at the same time, we also made sure that there wouldn't be any visitors on the Temple Mount the same day of the celebrations of the Jerusalem Day. Despite those 2 positives, I just want to finish my sentence. Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead.
Despite the 2 positive steps that we took in order to make sure that the Jerusalem Day would be peaceful, that is what started off the violence by Israeli Arabs, not just in Jerusalem, but unfortunately across the different areas. And sadly, the Hamas, the same afternoon when people were celebrating, Jewish people were celebrating in Jerusalem, and there were thousands of people in the streets, the Hamas fired rockets, which they haven't done for many years. For the first time in Jerusalem, innocent people had to take cover. And as you know, since then, the IDF has been dealing with the situation and responding to those Hamas attacks in the cities of Israel.